Hey guys, it's Danny. Now in my last video, we covered everything you need to know about kabocha squash. So I wanted to come back and make sure that you had a very easy, insanely delicious recipe that you could use your kabocha for. So I am showing you a vegan red Thai curry kabocha squash soup that I promise will blow your mind. So the first thing we need to do is roast up our squash. So it needs to be cut in half, but because kabocha is a very difficult squash to cut through, what I like to do is throw it in the microwave for 3 or 4 minutes because this helps to soften the skin. Then I will cut it in half vertically and scoop out all the seeds and the membrane. Lay it flesh side down on a rimmed baking sheet that's been coated with a little cooking spray. Then throw it into a 425-degree oven for 20-25 minutes or until it is fork tender. Then I let it cool until it's cool enough to handle, scoop out all of the flesh and set it aside. Now, FYI, you could 100% treat this like a Head Start ingredient. On the weekend when you are doing your food prep, make the squash and then take that cooked roasted squash, store it in an airtight container right in your fridge, and then during the week, you will save yourself a lot of time and a lot of effort when you're ready to make your soup. Now, to make the body of this soup into a nice big pot, I'm adding 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. Once that has melted, I'm gonna add in 1 chopped onion. Give that a stir, let it cook until it's becoming translucent, and then I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of grated ginger, 4 cloves of chopped garlic, and a teaspoon of kosher salt. Now, a lot of people ask me why I use kosher salt, and it's simply because I like the texture. Kosher salt has bigger crystals than most other salts, and so by volume, you'll actually end up using less salt than if you were using a salt that had smaller crystals. So I'm just gonna let this cook for a few minutes, stirring it periodically. In just about the time when you're feeling like you wanna eat the kitchen because it smells so good, you're gonna be ready for your next ingredient. So I'm adding in 3 tablespoons of Thai red curry paste. Now, this is a new ingredient to me. It is insanely delicious. It has a very exotic, intoxicating flavor to it. Basically, what it's made up of is red chili peppers, garlic, lemongrass, and kaffir lime, and it adds a real depth of flavor and complexity to this soup, which is beautiful because this is such a simple soup, but it tastes like there's so much more work that has gone into it than really has. So I'm gonna leave a link down in the description box below if you guys wanna check out that ingredient. Once I've got this all stirred together, I'm gonna stir in my kabocha squash, which remember is already cooked, along with 4 cups of low sodium veggie broth. Give it another stir, crank the heat up to high, let everything come to a boil, then we'll reduce it down and let it simmer for about 20 to 30 minutes or until all those flavors have come together. Really, at this point, your kitchen is going to smell delectable. So then I'll shut my heat off, let everything cool down a bit, and then we are going to blend this up in the blender. So it's gonna be into the blender about 1/3 of the way up, blend till it's nice and rich and creamy, transfer it out, and do the rest of the soup. And you just keep blending and transferring until you've worked through all the soup. Could you use an immersion blender to do this? Absolutely. If you have it and you like it, do that. Now, once all of my soup is blended together and back in the pot, I am going to add in 1/2 cup of coconut milk, and then I'm going to gently reheat the soup until it's warm enough to serve. The thing with the coconut milk is if it gets too hot, it can separate. That's why I do it right at the end. Now, this soup is extra beautiful with an extra drizzle of coconut milk over the top and a little sprinkle of pumpkin seeds. This soup is so complex. You have a little bit of heat, just a tiny bit of spice, and then those flavors of the curry and the kaffir lime and the lemongrass. I mean, it really makes for a spectacular soup. This soup is good enough to serve to company. Do it alongside a beautiful kale salad, and you would have an amazing, clean and delicious dinner that would be guaranteed to impress. Now make sure you guys take a second and give me a nice big thumbs up if you like awesome, delicious, healthy recipes. And then share this recipe with anybody else you know who's trying to eat better. If you guys want any of the details from this recipe, they will be down in the description box below. And thank you so much for watching. I'm Danny Spies. I'll see you back here next time with some more clean and deliciousness. Cheers. So you're just gonna cut this squash in half horizontally, vertically. Now, the first thing we need to do is roast up our squash. So, from the top. So the first thing we need to do is cut up our squash from the top. 20-25 minutes or until the squash, and let it go for about 20 minutes or until like those flavors have all married together. And again, your kitchen should sell, one more time, it is a showstopper.